Hello family, welcome to this channel. Today we will delve into the relationship between North Africans and Black Africans, which is complex and shaped by centuries of history, culture and politics. While North Africa is geographically part of the African continent, the region's cultural and historical ties to the Arab world have led to a distinct identity that often distances itself from sub-Saharan Africa. Many North Africans don't even consider themselves Africans. This video explores the reasons why North Africans sometimes look down on Black Africans, delving into historical contexts, the role of the Arab League, and the ongoing suppression of Black Africans in North African countries. Before we proceed, please click the subscribe button below to join this community. To understand the roots of the tension between North Africans and Black Africans, we must look back at the history of the region. North Africa, with its proximity to the Mediterranean and the Middle East, has always been a crossroads of civilizations. Ancient Egypt, one of the world's earliest and most influential civilizations, played a significant role in shaping the culture and identity of the region. While Egypt is located in Africa, its connections to the Middle East were strong, and its influence extended into the Arab world. The Arab conquest of North Africa in the 7th century was a turning point in the region's history. Following the death of the Prophet Muhammad in 632 AD, Arab armies swiftly expanded their territories, bringing Islam to North Africa. By the early 8th century, the Arab Muslim Empire had stretched across North Africa from Egypt to Morocco. This conquest not only introduced Islam but also cemented Arabic as the dominant language and culture in the region. The Berbers, indigenous people of North Africa, largely adopted the Arab identity, further blurring the lines between African and Arab identities. The trans-Saharan slave trade, which began around the 8th century and lasted well into the 19th century, is another crucial factor in the historical relationship between North Africans and Black Africans. Unlike the transatlantic slave trade, which is widely studied and condemned, the trans-Saharan slave trade is often overlooked. However, it had a profound impact on the region's social dynamics. During the trans-Saharan slave trade, Arab traders captured and transported millions of Black Africans across the Sahara Desert to North Africa and the Middle East. These slaves were forced into various forms of labor, including domestic work, agriculture, and military service. The trade reinforced negative stereotypes about Black Africans, who were often viewed as inferior and fit only for servitude. This legacy of slavery has left deep scars in the collective memory of both North and Sub-Saharan Africans, contributing to ongoing prejudice and discrimination. The formation of the Arab League in 1945 further solidified the distinction between North Africans and Black Africans. The Arab League, a regional organization of Arab countries in the Middle East and North Africa, was established to promote political, economic and cultural cooperation among its member states. Notably, the League's focus has always been on Arab identity, often at the expense of African identity. North African countries such as Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria and Morocco have historically aligned themselves with the Arab world rather than Sub-Saharan Africa. This alignment has manifested in both domestic and foreign policies, with North African countries often prioritizing their relationships with other Arab nations over their connections to Sub-Saharan Africa. This sense of Arab identity has contributed to the perception that North Africans are distinct from and, in some cases, superior to Black Africans. Despite the significant contributions of Black Africans to the development of North African societies, they have often faced suppression and discrimination. In countries like Libya, Algeria and Morocco, Black Africans, particularly those from Sub-Saharan Africa, have been subjected to harsh treatment and marginalization. In Libya, for example, the late Muammar Gaddafi's regime was notorious for its mistreatment of Black Africans. Gaddafi's government employed Sub-Saharan Africans as mercenaries, but these individuals were often scapegoated and targeted by anti-Gaddafi forces during the 2011 civil war. Reports of lynchings, arbitrary arrests and violence against Black Africans were widespread during this period, highlighting the deep-seated racism in Libyan society. Similarly, In Algeria, black Africans, particularly migrants from sub-Saharan Africa, have faced discrimination and xenophobia. They are often blamed for economic problems and subjected to racist attacks. The Algerian government has been criticised for its harsh treatment of sub-Saharan migrants, including mass deportations and forced repatriations. This discrimination is rooted in the belief that black Africans are outsiders, despite the fact that many have lived in North Africa for generations. Morocco has also grappled with issues of racism and discrimination against black Africans. Sub-Saharan African migrants in Morocco often face barriers to employment, education, and social integration. The country's policies towards migrants have been criticised for being exclusionary and discriminatory, with many black Africans living in precarious conditions. The legacy of the trans-Saharan slave trade continues to influence modern-day attitudes in North Africa. The perception of black Africans as inferior or other has been passed down through generations, leading to systemic racism and discrimination. In some North African countries, the word for slave is still used as a derogatory term for black Africans, reflecting the deep-rooted nature of these prejudices. The marginalization of black Africans in North African societies is also evident in their limited representation in political and social spheres. In many North African countries, black Africans are underrepresented in government, media, and other influential institutions. This lack of representation perpetuates stereotypes and hinders efforts to address the underlying issues of racism and discrimination. While the historical and cultural ties between North Africa and the Arab world are undeniable, it is crucial to recognize the shared African identity that transcends these divisions. Africa is a diverse continent with a rich history and a multitude of cultures, and North Africa is an integral part of this heritage. Promoting African unity and fostering a sense of shared identity is essential in combating the discrimination and prejudice that black Africans face in North Africa. This can be achieved through education, dialogue, and the recognition of the contributions of black Africans to the development of North African societies. Additionally, efforts to address the legacy of slavery and promote reconciliation are vital in healing the divisions between North and Sub-Saharan Africans. The tension between North Africans and black Africans is rooted in a complex history of conquest, slavery, and cultural identity. The Arab conquest of North Africa, the trans-Saharan slave trade, and the formation of the Arab League have all contributed to the perception that North Africans are distinct from and, in some cases, superior to black Africans. Despite the significant contributions of black Africans to North African societies, they have often been marginalized and discriminated against. Addressing these issues requires a recognition of the shared African identity that unites all Africans, regardless of their cultural or ethnic background. By fostering unity and promoting understanding, it is possible to overcome the divisions that have long plagued the relationship between North and Sub-Saharan Africans. Only then can the full potential of Africa's diverse and vibrant societies be realized. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more historical insights.